Hello there, and welcome to Secrets of the Ancients. If you're fascinated by the wonders of ancient civilizations and want to uncover their mysteries with us, make sure to follow our channel. It really helps us out if you subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. Your support means a lot, and it keeps us going as we dig deeper into history's greatest secrets. For nearly 30 centuries, ancient Egypt was the greatest civilization around the Mediterranean.
Most of what we know about ancient Egypt comes from the countless artifacts and monuments discovered in modern-day Egypt.
Each artifact helps archaeologists understand this ancient civilization better, but at the same time, they also reveal new questions and mysteries that remain unsolved.
The brilliance and achievements of ancient Egypt have fascinated historians and archaeologists for centuries, so much so that there's even a special term for experts deeply passionate about this field, Egyptologists.
Join us as we explore the secrets of ancient Egypt in today's video.
First, Khufu's ship.
Every excavation is like a mystery. You never know what you might find.
Who could have imagined that archaeologists would discover an enormous ship, almost perfectly preserved and still in great condition, when they were digging near the Giza Pyramid complex back in 1954?
The discovery of Khufu's ship is considered one of the greatest achievements in Egyptian archaeology.
A total of 1,200 pieces were carefully unearthed and reassembled.
Once complete, the ship turned out to be an incredible masterpiece, about 143 feet long and around 20 feet wide.
It was reconstructed without using a single nail.
According to experts, the ancient design and craftsmanship was so flawless that the ship could theoretically still sail on the Nile today.
Khufu's ship has survived more than 4,600 years, though we still aren't entirely sure what it was really meant for.
Some Egyptologists and archaeologists have come up with theories based on the evidence.
Experts strongly believe it was a solar boat.
In ancient Egyptian mythology, the sun god Ra used such boats to travel across the sky.
Pharaohs also used solar boats as symbols of Ra on Earth.
However, these ships weren't designed for normal travel by land or sea. They were mainly intended to accompany kings into the afterlife.
Although Khufu's ship shows signs of actually being used on water, it was probably used to carry the pharaoh's body from Memphis to Giza, similar to how a sacred pilgrimage boat would be used.
One of the most interesting theories about the ship is that it might help explain how the pyramids were built.
The ship's unique asymmetrical design could have made it capable of lifting huge stone blocks.
What do you think Khufu's ship was really for?
Second, the Silver Pharaoh.
Susens I, also spelled Suzen, was the third pharaoh of Egypt's 21st dynasty.
To this day, it's not exactly clear how long he ruled Egypt, but what he left behind after his death could be the missing piece to Egypt's historical puzzle.
According to some Egyptologists, the discovery of Susens I's royal tomb is actually more astonishing than the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb.
His tomb was excavated in 1940. Unfortunately, because it was located in Tanis in the Nile Delta, the damp climate badly damaged most of the wooden artifacts.
Still, his tomb is considered one of the most intact ever found and shows no signs of being robbed, whereas Tutankhamun's tomb was broken into twice.
Among the most stunning items in the tomb is the pharaoh's burial mask, made of gold and rare dark blue lapis lazuli.
Susen himself was buried in a solid silver coffin.
Most people think gold was always more valuable than silver, but in ancient Egypt, silver was actually rarer and harder to obtain, which made it even more precious, especially during Egypt's decline.
Throughout most of Egypt's history, inscriptions in various temples show that silver was seen as more valuable than gold.
No other silver sarcophagus has ever been found apart from Susenes's.
Although archaeologists have learned a lot about his burial and afterlife, very little is known about his reign.
Recent research suggests that Susens I was a clever politician who ruled during one of Egypt's most mysterious times, the Third Intermediate Period.
At that time, Egypt was divided between two rival powers, the powerful high priests in the south and the pharaohs who had been pushed north to Tanis.
While we can't confirm the exact length of his reign, it's estimated that Susenes ruled Tanis for over 40 years, compared to Tutankhamun's 10 years.
Because of this, Susens is remembered as a powerful ruler who managed to gather immense wealth, clearly reflected in the richness of his tomb.
Even so, many mysteries still surround his dynasty.
Number 4. The mysterious black liquid. Several recently discovered mummies were found covered in a strange black substance.
All the mummies from Egypt's 19th and 22nd dynasties went through this unusual ritual.
One of them was even a priest devoted to the sun god, Ra, wrapped in fine linen and entirely coated in a thick layer of black material.
Scientists started to question what this mysterious liquid was, and it took a lot of effort to analyze it. Studying a substance that's thousands of years old isn't easy.
Hundreds of samples were collected for lab testing. Results showed that most of the material was made of plant oils, animal fats, and tree resins.
However, this list might be incomplete because some ingredients could have broken down over time.
This black liquid was also used on some statues found in Tutankhamun's tomb. The exact reason why the ancient Egyptians used it is still unclear.
One theory suggests it was meant to keep grave robbers away, since only the elite mummies were covered in it. Another theory thinks it was used to help preserve the dead and their belongings for the afterlife.
But in the end, it's all still speculation.
Number 5. The clay-coated mummy. For Egyptian pharaohs and nobles, mummification was a complicated and expensive process, using valuable resources to make sure the dead lived on in the afterlife.
Among the many mummies found, archaeologists and Egyptologists have carefully studied and documented different mummification methods used in the past.
That's why they were truly surprised when they discovered a mummy coated in clay. Instead of being placed in a regular coffin, this mummy was covered in a layer of clay, a burial practice never recorded before in ancient Egypt.
Why use clay instead of the usual resin? One theory says the clay layer was made to protect the body after it had been damaged.
Even more interesting, the clay doesn't match the age of the body itself. The mummy was dated to around 1207 BC and showed signs of damage after death, while the coffin was meant for a woman who died much later. This suggests the body might have been switched due to an ancient grave robbery.
Still, the truth remains a big mystery.
That's exactly what this ancient cheese is. Would you dare to snack on something over 3,200 years old?
At first, archaeologists were completely puzzled when they found a large, hard lump inside a jar in the tomb of Thales, a high-ranking official in ancient Egypt. Though it hasn't been officially labeled as such, the discovery is important because it's the first proof that ancient Egyptians knew how to make cheese.
When scientists analyzed the lump, they realized they'd found the world's oldest known cheese.
Further tests showed it was made from sheep and goat milk.
But because of its age, scientists also found traces of bacteria that cause brucellosis, a serious disease that can spread from animals to humans through unpasteurized dairy products.
If correct, this wouldn't just be the oldest cheese ever discovered, but also the oldest molecular evidence of a deadly disease.
Number 7. Mummies with golden tongues. Archaeologists discovered 2,000-year-old mummies buried in northern Egypt with golden tongues placed inside their mouths.
Even though the mummies themselves weren't well preserved, each was given a golden amulet shaped like a tongue.
For a long time, archaeologists weren't sure why these poorly preserved mummies received such an important amulet.
One theory says the golden tongues were meant to allow the dead to speak before the court of Osiris, the god of rebirth and the afterlife.
In Egyptian mythology, Osiris was once the god of fertility, and later became ruler of the underworld and judge of souls.
Which of these strange discoveries amazed you the most? Do you know of any other archaeological mysteries that have been uncovered